I know, I come back after so long, and I know I'm gonna be pissing people off, so not sorry. But look, if there's one thing I've been adamant over the years about, is that since 2013, Bring Me the Horizon has piqued my interest more, and I think has made their better music since then. I don't really pay attention much to their first 3 albums. Maybe There Is a Hell. I mean, there's some good stuff on there. And even Suicide Season has some really good stuff. But their album that I hate, the only one that I say that I absolutely just loathe to the core, is Count Your Blessings from 2006, their debut album. They did have an EP out before this, which was equally as terrible. And of course, the album Count Your Blessings turns 20 years old this year. Yes, we are all getting old. It amazes me to think that I'm almost 30 years old, and I'm still talking about how much I just dislike this album. And not only that, but for the 20th anniversary, Bring Me the Horizon is playing some shows. And you know what? I don't have a problem with that. They're going to play shows, play this album in its entirety for the people that have been wanting to hear it, and I know they haven't played a lot of these songs in years live, so I get that, for an anniversary doing something like that, bands do this all the time. But then they're also going to re-record this album, and it's just like, man, I don't know, because Count Your Blessings is just so cringe to me. Like, it was everything so wrong about that, emo scene deathcore thing that took place back then. I mean, even Ollie Sykes will be the first to admit to you that it wasn't necessarily the band's best. And I know the excuse is going to be, they're young, they just wanted to write heavy music. But that doesn't give you the excuse of being cringe. There's really good heavy music out there that isn't necessarily trying to be heavy. It's just part of what the band is. But with Bring Me the Horizon back then, yeah, I just couldn't get into it. A lot of the instrumentals just felt so pressed together, like you weren't getting nothing most of the time. And of course, Ollie Sykes' vocals were so terrible back then. Like, my goodness gracious. And I don't mean terrible as a fact that he can't, do the gutturals or the unclean singing. He can, but that deathcore vocal tone kind of thing has just never been an attractive thing to me or to my ears. Like, it's cool when it happens, right then and there, because, again, I listen to some bands that do use it, but not to an extent. But this album just has it all over, and it never gets better from the start. I would say the only song from this album that I would even dare go back to listening to is Pray for Plagues, and it's just that song in itself is just about a whole lot of nothing. All in all, I like that the band is actually going to go back to their roots and do this album live for a limited time, like I said, for the people that want to hear it live, because I know that there is a, niche for this kind of thing. People will go and listen to it, but it's never been my cup of tea. It's always been cringy to me. My fandom with, bands like them and Asking Alexandria came late in a time when I felt like the bands were maturing more, and they weren't necessarily relying on the how heavy can we get factor. They started incorporating more things and making themselves interesting. That still applies to it today, even though most fans would say that Asking Alexandria doesn't make good music anymore, or Bring Me the Horizon barely makes good music anymore. I would beg to differ in that sense, to say they're better off where they're at now than where they were 20 years ago, and that's another reason that I'm kind of glad they're reliving this era, because it's just basically showing that it's an era that we can go back to every so often, but it's not necessarily an era that was fully liked. And even nowadays, even though, again, there are fans of it, I can tell you those fans have grown up and aren't necessarily craving that kind of music anymore. So, again, say what you want in the comments. I don't care. I know there's going to be people defending this album, and that is completely fine. That is okay. Again, that's what you're into, and that's what you want to listen to, then that's fine. But for me, yeah, I'm not necessarily excited for this 20-year reimagining of Count Your Blessings, unless they kind of mix it in with what they do now, although I highly doubt they are. But at the same point in time, I do like that Bring Me the Horizon is still showing you that they're willing to go back to their roots, even if cringy, and kind of give, the OG fans what they want just to kind of make them feel young for even if just a short amount of time. So that's really why I wanted to come on here. I just wanted to talk about what was going on with them, the album in particular, and why I've never been a big fan of that record in the first place, and why it's not necessarily something that, I will be craving to get. I might take a listen to it just to see how it turns out, but all in all, I'm not going like, yeah, what was it, July 10th when the remixed version of this album comes out, the 2026 version, I'm gonna go take a listen. It's like, no, it wasn't an album that was a part of my childhood, and I was never really into that deathcore emo thing. I mean, I was into emo stuff, but the deathcore thing was very hit or miss for me. Mostly miss, though. Very rarely would you find me listening to songs like that, but I've only been a fan of Bring Me the Horizon since Sempiternal, really, and to me, they just keep adding upon their music and keep getting more interesting, even if they have had some disappointments down the line. But that's just my thoughts on this. Would really like to hear in the comments below, what do you think? And again, I know that I'm going to get comments that are going to defend this album, and that is fine. Just be nice about it. That's all I'm saying. I'm being nice about it. I'm not judging you for liking it, so you don't have to judge me for disliking it. Just kind of give me reasons why you like it and why you're defending it and whatnot. And heck, I mean, maybe it was just a big part of your childhood. A lot of albums are for people, and there's just some that we look back on and go, ugh, maybe not. But then there's some that we hold on to and cherish. I mean, I got it tattooed on my arm right here. One of the biggest albums of my childhood and one of my most favorite albums of all time. So there's albums that just reach you so much that they stick with you. And if they still stick with you 20 years later, then it's doing something. But this album for me, no, not it. Not it at all. But yeah, until then, stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.
Break for break.